Over 7,000 islands make up one of the most beautiful places on Earth, the Philippines. This archipelago has been inhabited for over 30,000 years. Early inhabitants traveled between these islands, engaging in trade and developing unique religions, identities, and cultures. Sophisticated maritime trade networks connected them with neighboring regions like China, India, and the Malay archipelago. They traded goods such as gold, pearls, and spices, which were highly valued. As these advancements were taking place, another group of humans in Europe was evolving with a vastly different approach to progress. In Europe, particularly in countries like Spain and Portugal, culture and religion were deeply intertwined with the idea of expansion and conquest. European nations were driven by a desire to explore new lands, acquire wealth, and spread Christianity. Unlike the collaborative trade networks in the island, European progress often came at the expense of other cultures, as they sought to dominate and impose their beliefs. The European Age of exploration, marked by the voyages of figures like Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan, was fueled by these ambitions. This European group soon sought to conquer these islands, stripping away their culture and changing their name to honor their king. This isn't just a story of military conquest, but a new perspective on history that challenges our understanding of colonialism. The United States, which once fought for its own independence, soon became an empire itself. This contradiction is often left out of our history books. The story of these islands, particularly the Philippines, illustrates this point vividly. American citizens today in some island territories don't have equal voting rights. The U.S. Constitution grants citizenship to everyone born on U.S. soil, except in these jurisdictions. The Philippines were first conquered by Spain 500 years ago, which left a deep influence on their culture, religion, and even their names. However, by the 1800s, the Spanish Empire was crumbling. A new superpower, the United States, arrived with a significant impact. In the late 1800s, U.S. expansion was mainly on the mainland, but some people wanted to expand beyond it. The president was hesitant, but his war-loving advisors, especially Teddy Roosevelt, had their eyes on Cuba, a Spanish colony where locals were rebelling against Spain. The U.S. declared war on Spain in 1898 and soon expanded the war to the Pacific, targeting Guam and the Philippines. Roosevelt, then the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, orchestrated an attack on the Philippines without even asking his superiors. The U.S. arrived in the Philippines, where locals had already been fighting the Spanish. The U.S. offered to help, but ended up orchestrating a fake battle with Spain to claim victory for themselves. The Spanish agreed to a staged surrender to the U.S., not to the Filipino revolutionaries. The U.S. then paid Spain $20 million for the Philippines, turning from liberators to new colonizers. In the U.S., the government needed to maintain the narrative of liberators, staging military parades and creating propaganda. However, in the Philippines, the fight for independence continued, now against the U.S. This bloody war saw massacres and civilian deaths, but ended with the U.S. establishing control over the Philippines. The U.S. public lost interest in expansion, and territories like the Philippines faded from consciousness. This led to a critical legal question. Were these lands America? Were these people Americans? The Supreme Court ruled that these territories were unincorporated, meaning the people had no representation or rights like other Americans. During World War II, the Philippines were bombed by Japan on the same day as Pearl Harbor, but President Roosevelt omitted the Philippines from his speech. Japan occupied the Philippines until the end of the war, and the Philippines gained independence in 1946. Thank you for watching.